I didn't spend all days during the 4-year process of making Toyland. I didn't spend each and every day on that movie. Most of the time, the script development, it took about like half a year or something, and yeah, can I call that financing? Yeah, the process of asking for favors took me about 3 years, or about 2.5 years. So that was the toughest thing to run around and ask people, okay, can we have the train for free? Can we have the crane and everything? So that was quite tough. And well, actually, yeah, the fun part was like 5 days. 5 days of photography. That was fun. That was good.
喂，哎，你好。喂，你好，我想问一个问题，就是玩具岛这个的剧本，这个故事非常的打动我。我想知道这个故事您的构思过程是怎么样的？是从一个很小的创意慢慢的变长了，还是原来是个很长的故事，您尝试把它缩短？您中间的取舍，哪些是留下的？感动您，哪些是舍弃的？能把这个剧本的构思过程跟我们分享一下吗？谢谢。
I don't think it's a good way to create a good script for a short film. Some people think that, okay, we have a feature-length script, but we don't have the money, so let's just get rid of 60-minute and do a 30-minute something. Most of the time that doesn't work, and well, it's a long story because I mean I wrote a script with a little girl and a lie and whatever, so it's a feature-length script, but it's a completely different story. And of course, the 40s in Germany, the time of the Nazis, is a big part of our history. So I think it's absolutely necessary to do movies about that. And you know what kind of gave me the inspiration? There was a very little moment with my son. He was very young back then. And we were sitting in front of a TV, and they showed some terrible pictures from Baghdad, some bombing or whatever. And I said, "Oh no, I don't want you to see that. Please no." So I switched off the TV and I said, "Okay, did I just lie to him?" And in a way, I did. On one hand side, I wanted to protect him, and say, okay, he's too young to understand that, and all that blood and everything. I don't want to show him. On the other hand, I'm lying, and what this mother is doing is a lie to protect her child. She is telling him not the truth to protect him, and that ends in a very sad way, you know. And that was the moment when I started to think about it. And actually, I never thought about a feature-length film. Actually, somebody asked me after the movie was done, "Oh, yeah, what about making a long movie about it?" About the same story, about the same characters, and I wasn't interested. So when me and my co-writer, when we wrote that script, so here's another background, because he was writing on another feature-length script, we just thought about a short film.
嗯，你好，导演。我还是想请问一下，就是您个人的观点，就是觉得长片和短片它有什么不同？就是您在拍摄短片的时候会更加注重一些什么东西？谢谢。
I wasn't really sure if I wouldn't say I will never do a short film again. I did a couple, and I personally just concentrate on feature-length films because well, after Toyland, I did 2 90-minute movies. I'm doing a feature next year. I'm writing I'm attached to other feature films, so what I do next are feature films, and again, I think it's a different way of storytelling, but in the end of the day, it's about your characters and a good script, and so yeah, I think I said that before.
假如说我是一个导演，在我面前有2种剧本，一种是那种平常小事的生活经历那种题材的，一种是那种非常有创意的，别人都没有想过那种新的元素的电影题材，我该如何选择？或者这是2个剧本，我想写个剧本，就2种题材剧本，我该先写哪一种？谢谢。
No, actually, I give the question back. What are you more interested in? What kind of movies do you like? What kind of movies do you watch? What kind of movies do you like to? Oh, no answer.
Answer. No.
Okay. All right. No. Of course, I think that we should do. I mean, that's what I said in the beginning. I mean, we all have our background. We all have to say something, and if you really, if it's a need of you to tell something about normal life, I think you should do that movie. And if you it's, and the question is it's a tough question. I know it's a very easy question. If you're not interested in movies about normal life, don't do it. And if it's a well-paid job, you might think about it. I mean, that might be necessary to do that, but. Yeah, tell your stories. Tell it through your eyes. I think that's what directing is about. That's a wonderful thing about making movies. I mean, it's probably hard if you say the other movie is something that's never been done. That sounds interesting. Give me that script, please. But it's probably hard to finance. But in the end of the day, you have to decide what kind of movies you want to make. So I probably can't help you with that.
好，我问一个问题。话您在我这儿，好不容易想，弗莱丹克先生你好，我觉得我很喜欢你的电影，然后就是说，我觉得德国这个民族也很伟大，啊，因为他可以正视他自己的历史和现实，啊，对，好，您刚才说历史是很重要的一部分，很有必要拍这样的故事。我看到那个2次世界大战的那个犹太人那个希特勒对犹太人大屠杀被很多的次搬上荧幕，但是我觉得我们中国很不幸的是说，我们这个民族或者是一个很健忘的民族，或者政府希望我们很健忘，因为我们有很多的题材、很多的故事不能讲，比方说文革，或者说是64啊，或者说是比方说还有一些比方说新疆啊这些民族冲突的事儿。我觉得就是说，你因为是从东德过来的，我很高兴的知道，就是多少年前柏林墙倒了，但我觉得在我们中国的电影界，柏林墙还没有倒，所以我在想问你，试想你今天还在东德，这样一个环境当中有审查，你会做你现在的这样的电影吗？还是说你会想到办法做不一样的电影，或者同样找到方式来讲述你这样的电影？好吧，谢谢。
You know, well, I'm still in East Berlin, even though even East Berlin doesn't exist anymore, because it's part of Berlin and Germany is united now. But what I said in the beginning, I mean, my personal experience during the time in the GDR, because when East Germany and West Germany, the war came down, I think it was in '89, so I was pretty young back then. I was 22, and so I think that will influence my view of the world. So I think I'll tell stories different than somebody from, you know, there's some rich kids in Hollywood, and some of them write scripts, and I read those kind of scripts very often. They don't have anything to say. And even if I do a romantic comedy, actually that's the next movie I want to do, my experience, it's not a movie about East Germany at all. It's about a movie about kind of arranged marriage between a Turkish girl and a guy from Munich, actually. So my personal background will be part of it, and I think even though I don't do a movie about the fall of the wall or whatever, so it's always part of my filmmaking. And talking about the Berlin Wall, funny enough, movies in the cinema in Germany, it took about 15 or 10 years for the first movies about East Germany to be successful. That was a very strange thing. They like in 92, 95, actually I wrote a script in 93 and nobody wanted to make that movie. It was a comedy about East Germany, no one was interested in. Like 7 years later, we had a big success, but I think it was Goodbye Lenin, you might have heard about that. It was a very, very successful film about that time, so sometimes it takes a while to talk about third things.
导演你好，我想就是我们就是这样新锐导演在一开始的话都是从短片开始的，但唯一一个问题就是说，比如说我想拍一个3分钟的片子，我计划是拍一个3分钟的片子，写了一个3分钟的剧本，但是拍出来的话可能它有10分钟，就是我拍出来的跟理想预期是有很大差距的，而且我确实做过这样的事，然后我想问您的是就是。但是我就拍出这个片子来看，就是觉得它的节奏明显的慢了，它的那个就是，但是我觉得这里面不能删东西，就是觉得没什么可删的。我也和朋友讨论过这个问题，当然我就特别想问一下您，关于这个短片啊或者说长片啊这个节奏感的问题，谢谢。
I think, I mean. Be lucky that it is a short film, because if you make a feature-length film and it's 3 times too long, you're gonna end up in trouble. I mean, actually, if you don't like the pace, I think you made a mistake during pre-production, because that's when you make all the creative decisions. I come back to that all over and over. I mean, what can you do? I mean, sometimes you can say, okay, editing the whole thing, but I mean, if you say it's impossible to get rid of certain shots or scenes, maybe it never was a 3-minute movie. And so I think you just have a 10-minute movie now, and you can't do anything about that. Take the experience and do another one.
哎，你好，导演。
你好。
您刚才强调到，导演要和剧组的很多主创人员做好充分的交流。我想请您在这个方面能不能具体谈一下？比如说，你可能就画面可能对摄影师有一些想法，那么你交流到什么程度？比如你可能不能说的特别具体，特别具体可能影响摄影师的表达。有的时候你不能说的特别空虚。就是搞得他搞不清，比如说我想画面更好看一点， 还是说应该说的更具体一点，就是类似这个尺度的问题，这是一个。就是说，第二个，您没碰到过那种，您可能希望演员是某种表演状态，但这个演员可能不太乐意接受这种状态。那么，如果他就在情绪上抵触您的这种意见，那么您怎么去处理这种情况？就是这个也是一个分寸，或者说，就是说一种极端有些困难的地方。您能不能举一点这种，谈一下这方面的问题？谢谢。
Yeah, right. That is a very delicate situation. You're absolutely right. Well, starting with the DP, what I do is like if you have a script and you finally agree, okay, me and that director of photography, we are doing the movie together. So the first thing I do with him is like telling him my vision of the movie. So okay, it should be like. I mean, just the feeling, the taste of it. So I don't go into any details, and I really like to listen to what he thinks about the movie. And the second thing is I talk about each and every scene, and so together we decide, okay, we make this and this and this and this and this. So we are very detailed. On set, we sometimes do something different. Because we are on the same page, we both know how to tell the story. So I think, whatever decision you make when you sit in a room, sometimes you don't even know the location yet. So you always have to adjust that. And I think the time when you have the most, again, freedom to come up with new ideas is before shooting, and that's when you have to talk to the DP and listen to his suggestions. Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, it's different. Sometimes I have a shot in mind, and I really insist on certain things. On the other hand, if he some directors are too stupid to listen. They just give orders, and that's what I was trying to say. So if you tell him the detailed shot, you just get 90% of it, and you want 120%. So that's a balance. It really depends. And again, talk about like a good script. If you have a good script, and if you talk about each and every shot. Like weeks before you start principal photography, you might get what you want. Working with actors, of course, it's a question. Big question is casting, because if you go through a casting process, you kind of know what they can do and what they are not able to do. Where sometimes an actor can get bit out of hand. I remember when I did actually it was the first like decent short film I did, and it was about a crazy undertaker, and the actor, he was very, very good, so I was lucky, but he was like more and more transforming into this character. So he was very, very crazy, and he what he did was very good, but he said, yeah, I want this shot, I really have to do that, and we have to do that. And so I said, okay, well, I'll give him what he wants. And I was talking to my DP, and we said, okay, we do a P shot. I called it a P. And we talked about that before, and we called it a placebo shot. So we just pretended to film. The camera was rolling, but the lighting was shit. It was just to say, okay, calm down. And he was very happy after that, and the work was very pleasantly after that. So he was happy. We didn't waste too much time, and so, yeah, that helps. Sometimes you have to play tricks. But in the end of the day, it's about casting. If you know your actors, if you work with them before you start shooting, you kind of know. Sometimes it takes just time. Just give them some space to say, okay, let's have a half an hour break, relax, let's do it again in 30 minutes. It's very different all the time.
Hi, sorry, we were getting. Hi, Jochen, 你好。I'm going to ask questions in Chinese. 我有一个问题啊，就是说在中国有一个特别有意思的现象，我不知道这是不是在德国也发生，或者在好莱坞里也发生啊，就说，sorry。就是说，在中国哈，很多人就是比方说演员啊，或者编剧啊，都很想做，就是都想做导演，就很多人想做导演，在这个电影的这个工业这个产业链里面。然后呢，就是导演本身呢也想做更好的导演，或者，但是有一个问题，就是说你有没有在你做导演的这个生涯当中，会反省自己，说自己是不是有导演的真正做好导演的这样的天分，也就是说，做一个好的导演，他需要什么样具体的天分？因为别的艺术形式，像舞蹈呀、绘画呀或者什么的，你很容易，或者是别人很容易发现你是不是有天分。但是作为导演来说，因为你这个电影没有导好，这个电影出来结果不好，可能不一定是导演的责任，可能是表演或者是制作整个的过程。但是呢，所以最终一句就是简单一点说，就是说。导演什么样的需要具备什么样的天分，才能真正成为好的导演？这样每个人可以反省。谢谢。
Well, I definitely don't say a director has to attend a film school, because I didn't. But I think it's a very helpful thing, and on the other hand, I think. Some actors might be great directors one day. Some screenwriters can direct films. I think what they all need, especially former screenwriters, is like what I said, like experience. Like they should spend time on set. They should know how to run a set, because communicating with 200 people is different than just sitting in front of a computer. And it's hard to say. I mean, who's a good director? I mean, when you all want to start your career, and before a producer wants to hire you, and the producer is asking you, okay, can you show me a feature? And you say, okay, oh, I haven't done one. I want to do one, and you can't do a feature because you haven't done a feature, so you end up in another catch-22 situation. So making short films is probably very helpful, because you can prove. You can show, okay, I know how it works. In the end of the day, I don't know what's the right qualification, because my background is very, very different from others, because I don't think there are many former producers who work as a director now. It's always very, very different.
老师您好。有的时候一个好的团队是谁都想要的。但是在很多时候我们会遇到一些人，他们有很好的能力，但是他们在这个项目上不是很努力。或者是有的人很努力，但是他并没能够表现出您的想法。但是最重要的是钱已经花出去了。在这种情况下，我们怎么去通过沟通解决问题？谢谢。
Well, I think someone has made the wrong decisions. I mean, we're hiring the wrong people. And if you find out about the fact that they are not the right people, well, sometimes you really have to get rid of them, and you have to do that as quick as possible. And I think you find out if they are devoted to the project, if they share your vision. When right after the start, because if you communicate with them, they tell you what they think about that movie, and you can see the first results. If you talk to a set designer, and he doesn't deliver, he doesn't come up with any ideas, and he doesn't understand your vision, I think the best thing is to find somebody else, and I think, I don't know how it is here in the studio system. I unfortunately don't know a lot about that, but yeah, I think finding the right people is a very important thing, and if you did some work, if you did other jobs, like me working as a first AD for a while, so you know a couple of people, and you can talk to a producer and say, okay, I want to work with this composer, I want to work with that whatever set designer. So I think that's a very helpful way. On the other hand, look at the stuff they did before. I mean, if they must have done other movies before, so or let them show you a DVD and you can have a look at that movie. That might be difficult sometimes because you don't know who really in the end of the day made the decision, or maybe they've been fired and got full credit. You never know, but in the end, I think it's a very, very important thing, like casting, to find the right people to work with you, and that changed the whole movie, and motivating people. I think it's a lot about energy. If you are able to explain what you want, and this movie is something really important to you, I think a team gets it, and in the end of the day, the audience will understand that. And I think if you are in front of the team, and I think you have to be the person to work as hard as everybody else, and get up early and you know, like talk about your vision and make them share your vision. Even the slow ones, sometimes they pick up and they help you. I mean, it's a question of energy sometimes, but in the end of the day, the best thing is to have the right people on set.
弗莱丹克，你好。
Sorry。
导演你好。 我等了好多天，终于等到这个机会，可能是因为我手臂不太长。我想谈一个剧本取材的问题，就是因为这几天的课程里面，我们大家也都听了很多大师给我们讲的课，他们反复提到的一点也是很重要的一点，就是导演要忠于自己的内心，他的个人经历对他的作品是非常重要的。但是现在呢，有一个矛盾，刚才也有同学问到，也有新锐导演问到。 中国现在最受关注的一代，可能就是所谓的80后和90后。对于他们来说，中国发生的大事，比如说刚才那位朋友提到的文革，等等一系列的事件，对他们来说现在只是一个又一个的敏感词，他们没有经历过，也不可能去拍。那他们现在经历的只是歌舞升平的和谐盛世，那这个拍出来可能又会散发着一股政治的恶臭。 所以，可能有一部分人只能选择去乡村里面拍孤寡老人，去山里面拍支教教师，就是他们的题材的取材范围很有限。刚才也有导演说，有新锐导演提到这个问题，说我们的精力有限，我们的经验有限，如何去拍？这是一个我觉得这是一个矛盾，也是他们需要探索的道路。希望你能给指点一下，就是他们该怎样把自己平淡的生活拍出新意，或者是深度。谢谢。
I'm not really sure if you talk about feature films like drama or talk about documentary. In the end of the day, it's when you can filmmaking you learn through filmmaking, and the good thing these days are that you can that the whole equipment and everything isn't that expensive anymore, because if you shoot on HD, you can create something with a very good quality. I'm just talking about the technical aspects now, and it's not a very tough thing to rent or buy a good camera these days anymore. And in the end of the day, it comes down to storytelling. And even if you are very passionate about what you have to say, you have to find your language to tell this story. And so if you want to go to the countryside, you probably just need a very small team. If you want to shoot somewhere, it's just a question of the story, of the topic of that movie. And talking about the political backgrounds, again, I don't know so much about it. Where I grew up in East Germany, because there were certain rules, but you could say a lot of things. You just have to find your way, and so that's what we did back then. And I just remember in the theater, for instance, I mean, even in classic plays, so that it has something to do with our everyday reality. And back then, so we were not allowed to say anything. And I think, again, I don't know much about the situation in China, unfortunately, but I think you have many opportunities these days, and especially as a filmmaker, you should use that opportunity.
Doctor 老师你好，首先呢，我想说一件事情，额外的，就是请不要那位同学说8090的智商很高，谢谢。然后，第二，我问您的问题，不好意思，对不起啊。您现在在国际上已经享有了一定的声誉，对于国际您自己的国家，包括世界上的一些年轻人，您会不会给予一些帮助？
Oh, that's why I'm here.
那我们能不能可以获得您最直接的帮助？这是一个问题，您可以考虑，也可以不考虑。
Again, please.
就是您，如果我们有机会可以跟您交流或者交谈，在这个环境之外，是否可以给我们像您的 ID 啊或者邮件这样的地址？
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's do that right afterwards. Yeah, sure.
谢谢。第二个请求，我有一个请求，不好意思，因为这个请求是给崔老师的，也是我们的班主任。孩子们现在有点迷茫了，可能我们就像小羊一样的，这阵有点跑得乱了。您拍了这么长时间，包括电影传奇这样的纪录片，包括跟这些大师交流的这些多天，能不能麻烦您这个班主任帮我们这些年轻人来提一些问题？因为我觉得这样松散的问题可能是有它的自由性，但是这种自由性是没有主题的。知道您这2年很累很辛苦，但是我希望能向您提出这样的请求，谢谢。
首先我觉得我们应该谢谢这个弗莱丹克先生。我有一个提议，让他尝尝中国的矿泉水，特别好喝啊。Water， 哎，非常好喝。对，我想可能在座的很多人有愤怒，是吧？你们会觉得这些天听到了太多愚蠢的问题，浪费了这个大师训练班的时间。昨天和前天我也在跟这些大师交流，我说你们能把你们听到的最愚蠢的问题告诉我吗？他们告诉我。我们在这个现场没有听到一个愚蠢的问题。我觉得这个才是一个艺术家的胸怀。刚才很多朋友提到了这个题材，我觉得我也感兴趣，这个事儿非常有意思啊。就是你们说现在有很多题材，像反右、文革啊，这你们都非常感兴趣，不能拍是吧？ 所以你们很愤怒，但是在你们愤怒的同时，你们又在设计新的敏感词，比如说80、90后。所以我觉得我们真的应该重新反思，要想想 为什么大师会听不懂我们的问题啊？真的有一天，当我们反思清楚、想明白了，我想我可以带着我们的新锐导演到美国、德国去讲课。我印象非常深的是，有一位电影人跟我谈，他说：“电影是做什么的？电影人是做什么的？有一些电影人是做什么的？”他分得非常清楚。他说，每一个时代的电影人都需要跳出来一些，他们负责开拓影片的题材和范围，他们是先驱者。其实，在整个这个中国历史的发展过程中，一直存在的这样的人。我说一个名字，你们非常熟，屈原，现在还在水里泡着呢。那么，其实更多的时候，我觉得，我倒不认为是政策的问题，我觉得是我们自己把自己吓回去了。我在一个最敏感的单位工作，其实我看的文件比你们看的要多，但是你们说的这些禁区，我觉得没有人明确的跟我们讲过。但是在我的心里，我比你们记得还清楚，那个不能碰。谁定的？是我们自己给自己内心定的。现在你们在请教各位大师，说我们如何冲破它，那不是大师的事儿，那是新锐导演的事儿。冲破这些禁区，我觉得并不复杂，它跟做游戏一样，就看看你有什么智慧。当你智慧不够的时候，你玩不了这个游戏，你当然冲破不了这些禁区。你更不可能作为一个游戏的制定者、游戏规则的制定者，啊。其实我觉得从这个角度来讲，电影的门槛是非常低的。这也就是为什么我们的新锐导演计划，我们不看背景，我们说你只要符合18岁到70岁华人就可以了。至于你拍过长片还是短片，得过什么奖，上过哪个学校，我们不在意。对这个新锐导演计划来说，它没有意义。所以我想，可能我不知道今天还能不能给这个弗莱德克先生一点时间哈。晚上还会有一个讲座，那个时候我希望是不是我们听了2天大师的讲课，我们每个人的胸怀都开始开阔了。当我们听到每一个问题的时候，我们都会给他鼓掌，都认为它是一个高级的问题，是一个有独特视角的问题，啊，我们都有这样的胸怀，起码我们长得就有点像艺术家了。其实在中国有很多约定俗成的东西，比如刚才我们说的那些规则和禁区啊，就说电影这个行业有很多约定俗成的东西。现在最著名的影星，吃饭都要有人喂了，这个不是国际惯例，对吧？所以当你们做导演的时候，要禁止这样做。再大腕儿也不要喂他吃饭，要让他自己吃啊，吃完自己上厕所。要改变这种规则。还有呢，在中国你很容易走在大街上，发现哪个孩子有电影梦想了，因为他在留头发。你看今天大师告诉我们了，什么样的发型都可以当导演。我让这些国际来的大师给大家讲课哈，不是想复制出8位大师来，我们是想出新锐导演。这个新锐导演，他可能能驾驭一般的电影，甚至他们的想法，他们创作出的作品，是这些大师都敬佩的。那个可能才是我们最高兴的时候。我希望你们有这个勇气，也相信自己的这个能力，相信自己慢慢增长的实力啊，不要受太多的潜规则的困扰。我刚才在听你们提问的时候，我在那儿听，我觉得 差不多我们每个问题都跟现在影视界的潜规则有关系，所以真的大师没法回答你们，只有讲师能回答你们啊。不要在乎这些，真的。我告诉你们一个有趣的事儿啊，就是当我把这些8位大师都要请到北京的时候，我忽然想起了一件事儿。我说这是个很大的事儿，是吧？这个是不是要到公安局申报啊？我说如果到时候大师都来了，说公安局说不许聚众做这种赌博活动啊，就麻烦了嘛啊。但是其实在我脑子里没有这个概念，我觉得艺术家没有国界，是吧？他们可以来，我们可以欢迎，可以听，这是非常正常的学术交流。这要找谁申报呢？为了放心，我说我还是去问一下吧。后来他们告诉我说，在室内没有人管。如果你要在室外这么多人，那你要申报一下了啊。恰好我们选择的就是在室内啊。所以其实有些规则，尤其是潜规则，我觉得大家是可以熟视无睹的，不要在意它，从你们开始破坏它，从你们开始消灭它。现在我觉得这样，现在我们再让大家提最后一个问题，你们听听这个问题是不是很愚蠢？还是说能赢得你们的掌声？是哪一位？你提过问吗？从来没有是吗？谁从来都没有提过问题？这位哈，来，请他提个问题。我能先问你一个问题吗？
哎，
你现在脑子里有“愚蠢”这个词吗？
我只想着我自己要问的问题，
这就对了。
好多位大师我都没有问到。
这就对了，好吧，你来提问啊。
就请问那个，丹尼尔大师，我是这个，我想明白一点，就是如何依据这个剧本来选择或者塑造这个人物形象。好，谢谢大师。
您能解决他的问题吗？
Okay, that's a good question, isn't it? It's not stupid at all. Right? Well, if you start reading a script, sometimes you have, well, right after you read it, you have someone in mind, a good actor, and I think casting is 80% of the answer. So if you read the script and you have someone in mind and say, okay, it has to be Jeff Daniels. Try to get him. It might be tough, it might be hard to approach this particular actor, and if you have that vision and you have the chance to talk to him, he might bring the character to life. And on the other hand, it has a lot to do with the script writing process, because if the character is just a cliche, it's even hard for a great actor and a good director to bring this particular character to life. So I think 50% of the job is the script writing, 50% is casting, and as a director you can really try to add something on that.
好，那在今天这个下课之前哈，我们听一个从开班到目前为止最愚蠢的问题，哪一位？你提过问吗？来，就是你啊。我相信你现在脑子里没有“愚蠢”这两个词啊，但是我希望你脑子里开始有那样一个词，叫故事。
老师，我说实话，我有个比较愚蠢的问题。
提。
就是我
I
想
look
问一
forward
下，
to it.
就是很简单啊，我问一下德国有没有这样的潜规则？就是
Well, there are many, and most of the time they have to do with the budget, because how can you raise a budget? And I think that's, well, people talk about that a lot, so it's another unspoken rule, sort of. And on the other hand, another big question is how you can break into the industry. And people are not talking about the fact that the easiest way to start your career is to have the right parents. So that might be one of the, it's not a rule to have the right parents, but it helps a lot in Germany as well, and I think it's like this in other countries as well, and to be well connected. And if you don't belong to the like little elite with the right background, it's very tough to start your career, and you have to work even harder. So that's probably one of the little secrets in the German industry.
你看，其实全世界都是一样的嘛，但是就在出来一些人在打破这个规则，所以电影才有了生机啊。我觉得今天大师给我们讲课，其实归纳成两句话比较合适哈，就是什么样的发型都可以做导演，无论长片短片都要讲故事。再次谢谢大师，谢谢。在背景板前给我们留一个字吧。
So thank you very much, Chiche. It was a pleasure being here, and I say thank you to you. I'm really grateful to that opportunity, and I'm sure one of you guys may have a big career, and I hope it's more. I hope it's all of you. So thank you again to being here. Okay. Oh, all right. Here we go. Thank you. All right. Thanks.